Oprah Winfrey, Iman Gutzi, J.K. Rowling, Richard Branson, Steve Jobs. When I say these names, what comes to mind? Most people would say world changes, visionaries, people who have reshaped industries, inspired millions, or challenged the way we see the world. But there's one thing you might not know. All of them struggled in school. Some of them were told they weren't smart enough. Most of them didn't fit in. And many, like Steve Jobs and Richard Branson, dropped out altogether. Their intelligence wasn't recognized by the system they were part of. And yet, they did things far beyond any exam or report card. I could add myself almost to the list. No, I haven't changed the world. And no, I am not a high school dropout. Although if you'd see me the last few weeks of exams, it was close. But like them, my intelligence, I was never seen as traditionally intelligent. Growing up, I was someone who struggled academically a lot. My grades were always near the bottom. And I'll never forget overhearing my teacher claiming that I suffered from short-term memory loss. Wait, what did I want to say? Just kidding, I didn't forget my line. But you know what the system forgets? Something way more important. That intelligence isn't one size fits all. The problem is, the system forces students to fit into a narrow box. You're defined by a narrow definition. Grades, academic scores in certain subjects, and how much you can memorize. If you don't fit in that mold, you're labeled as less than. And that label sticks. It shapes the way you see yourself. Take a moment to look at this image. In school, I often felt like the elephant in this image, in a system designed specifically for monkeys, which expected me to climb up a tree, like someone set up to fail. And it wasn't because I wasn't capable of climbing up the tree, but because the system didn't recognize the way I was intelligent. I'm sure some of you in the audience can relate. We all have individual strengths that makes us unique, but the system holds us back by preventing us from embracing who we truly are, our individuality. Now, this image is originally from 1983, a cartoon. And isn't it concerning that something created over 40 years ago still resonates so deeply with today? And back to me feeling like the elephant, everything changed when I was 13. And I discovered programming, sadly not through school, but by accident. Suddenly, the world of computer science turned into something that I dreaded, into something that excited me. Looking back, if I hadn't found that spark, I would have never developed the passion I have today for computer science. The school system at the time didn't provide me the right environment to discover this interest. It felt limiting. But things began to shift. Eventually, my intelligence was recognized. And with the support and encouragement of my teachers, not only was my talent acknowledged, but also nurtured. I finally found the tree to climb. I finally found a path that matched my strengths and abilities. But I always still wonder, what if it happened earlier? What if a child's abilities were recognized early on, and not just only when it fits into the grading box? And yeah, even now, I see how our education system, at this school specifically, IB, although it is well developed and strong, it still has an old-fashioned belief of what intelligence really is. But there are entire education structures, like the Nordic countries, like Finland, Sweden, the Netherlands, who take a different approach. Their systems teach students not what to learn, but how to learn. They introduce real-life skills in an early stage. And most importantly, they prioritize the mental health of their students. The results? In global rankings, they outperformed many other countries. And students reported lower stress, higher happiness, and more engagement. The message is clear. Standardization isn't the key to excellence. Individualization is. And now, with AI advancing more than ever, we need to change the way we define intelligence, the way we see intelligence. Because think about it. AI can memorize, can write essays, calculate. And if we keep defining intelligence by the old standards, we are missing the point. Human intelligence isn't about memorization. It's about creativity, empathy, resilience, and innovation. But some might still say, but aren't good grades a sign of success? I came across this research made by Dr. Karen Arnold, who examined 81 valedictorians. For those in the audience who may not be aware, valedictorians are individual students who outperform academically a group of students. And out of those 81 valedictorians, 90% of them have professional careers. And out of those 90%, 40% of them have top-tier jobs. And clearly, there is a correlation between grades and success. But throughout this study, there was this one question. How many of them changed the world? They found out 0. As Dr. Arnold said in one of her interviews, valedictorians aren't likely to be future visionaries. They typically settle into the system rather than shaking it up. So what do? We can't tear down the system overnight. We can't change it overnight. But we can change the way we think. Parents, let your kids explore, fail safely, and grow. Encourage curiosity over perfection. Teachers, school leaders, rethink the way we teach. Instead of teaching them how to think, instead of teaching them what to learn, teach them how to think. Nurture different types of brilliance. And students, when you choose your path, do you choose what truly excites you or what is expected of you? Because what if my dad believed those who told him he wasn't intelligent enough? He wouldn't be the person he is today. What if real-life skills like creativity, communication, and leadership were nurtured earlier on? What if a child's abilities were recognized early on and not just put aside because it didn't fit into the system? All these what-ifs. But we can't afford to live in a world of what-ifs. We need to take actions now, because actions speak louder than words. Thank you.